Hello to the chicos and the chicas, ladies and gentlemen. Your homework has dropped. In fact, it has arrived a while ago, but now is the time when I get around discussing and reviewing the one and only Perpetual Chess Improvement by the also one and only Ben Johnson. A super awesome opportunity for me here to talk about a super awesome book. What is this book all about? Well, first and foremost, let's discuss the author. In the very unlikely event that you haven't come across the name of Ben Johnson, it is very likely that you haven't listened to any chess podcasts yet, because he is the godfather of chess broadcasting and indeed podcasting, rather, excuse me. And indeed, I can't think of really anyone in the chess circles who wouldn't have either come across Ben or, in fact, would have been one of his guests. Ben has interviewed myriads of world champions, remarkable chess players, famous grandmasters, authors, book authors, chessable authors. And on top of that, and this makes actually Ben a remarkably cool dude, he also regularly interviews everyday people, adult improvers, guys who play chess as a passion and they, have a main hustle in their life, and chess is just a tiny aspect of it, but because of they still love chess, very often those conversations are the best. Long story short, if there is one person on this planet who has heard more about chess improvement than anybody else, I reckon it is actually Ben Johnson, because him constantly talking to people about chess improvement on his podcast for I don't know how many years, God forbid, perhaps a decade by now. I don't know who would be better suited to give you a book about chess improvement. And of course, Perpetual Chess Improvement refers to his podcast, the Perpetual Chess podcast. So yeah, what a book, man. I really was excited about getting into it, and let me tell you, the book did not disappoint. It is an absolute must to anyone who is new to chess, who is about to jump into chess with the intention to get better at it. But I also would very highly recommend it to every single person out there who is already in the grind, but perhaps would like to pick up a fair bit of extra intel, a fair bit of extra information, figuring out where they might be going wrong and what is it that they still might need to do more. And this book is definitely a great guidance in that. Almost 30 chapters of really good advice, marvelous stories. It's just really the book that you really want to get into if you are a like-minded person who would like to improve their chess. The book is split into 3 big parts. Part 1 deals with what he calls the 4 pillars of chess, which is basically what he considers to be the most important aspects of chess improvement. Then part 2 is other aspects of chess, which is obviously a little bit more into the nitty-gritty of what it takes to become a great player. And part 3 is titled Working on your game away from the board, which is a big leap into the world of online chess and beyond, talking about fitness, how to prepare, and what kind of expectations to have if you have got family. It's a really practical book that touches upon many things that us chess players, for example, wouldn't necessarily think about addressing when we are writing our books and our courses. But because of Ben is partly in the inside, but partly also an outsider in this regard, I guess he has a very good sense for seeing stories from both sides and being able to reflect on that. In fact, one thing that I really like about the book is that in almost every chapter, he picks ideas from multiple point of views, often conflicting views, about the topic. For example, how important it is to learn openings really in thorough detail if you are someone new to chess and you are just about starting your chess club career. And most people would of course say that, don't worry about it, but he actually brings up an example, an international master he had on his podcast, who did talk about the importance of opening learning. So conflicting ideas are a common feature of the book, which in my opinion is really great, because the book doesn't promise you to tell you how it's done best. Instead, what it does remarkably well is that it gives you a list of often different opinions from very well established experts, sometimes other improvers, and then at the end of each chapter, and I just miraculously opened it up right there, he offers a summary or a conclusion where in bullet points he sort of tells you a rough conclusion of what's in there, but the last final decision is very often up to you what you do with that information. And I do like that because it's not trying to spoon feed you how to do things, but much rather it seems to offer you a range of ideas, and then you can then think about what is it that you like, what is it that fits into your life and your chess regimen, and take it from there. One of the most remarkable features of the book is the fact that it recommends various things for chess improvement, books, YouTube channels, Chessable courses, the whole lot. And in fact, I must say that this book must be a world #1 bestseller if it recommends my YouTube channel on top of the list. So, booyah, baby. Although I must add that that is actually not a priority order. It is just an assembly of YouTube channels that Ben recommends, but I'm very proud of the fact that I am on that list, as is, by the way, many other remarkable YouTubers, including, for example, my personal favorite, one of my personal favorites at least, the legend himself, Danny King. So, yeah, multiple Chessable references, course recommendations, forcing chess move, one that I will recommend all the time I have an opportunity, but you may find the logo of Chess Principles Reloaded in there as well. But enough about me. One more thing that I would like to tell you is that he really managed to get very engaging, gripping stories that you just can't wait to read and get into. One of them is when Ben Feingold talks about the importance of chess analysis, game analysis. We call it post-mortem in the biz. After the game, when you go through the game, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Absolutely brilliant story about a cup of Kasparov game that Feingold got to observe. He tells you the story about the remarkable Singaporean dude, Kevin Go Wei Ming, who is a Singaporean grandmaster who was chasing a title. That is in the chapter of titles and other things. Is it worth aiming for a title? What does it take to get a title? And then you hear a story of a grandmaster, now grandmaster, back then international master, and you understand the hurdles and the difficulties he had to go through. But at the same time, you also hear the story of Levi Rosmans, and not a story that necessarily you would hear all the time because everyone knows Levi as the #1 chess YouTuber, but he actually tells the story of how he decided to give a crack to the GM title and how that played out. So just really an incredible wealth of chess knowledge, chess wisdom, and chess stories. And first and foremost, a bucket load of awesome pieces of advice for those who would like to know more about chess improvement. I especially recommend it to adult improvers because there are particular chapters where I feel like it talks even more to adults than to kids. In fact, there is a half chapter that talks about how to play against kids because it's one of those dreaded things for adult improvers when they go to the club and they play against a 7-year-old who is very low rated but incredibly talented. So yeah, long story short, I can't recommend highly enough. It is a marvelous book. It is really a really awesome summary from chess development perspective of what Ben has been doing in his podcast, and I think that this book is a really fun and engaging read. So once again, I very highly recommend you to get a copy of Perpetual Chess Improvement. You are going to love it just like I did. And with that, I'm going to call it a day, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to sub, to like, to thank me if you can with that super thank thingy. But also, most importantly, don't forget to sub. Thank you very much for watching this. I will be back with you in the next video soon. Thanks for watching.